Alright, all you cool cats and kittens. We're on page 226 if you are following along in the book. Otherwise, follow along here. Here we go. You're Clarice's dad, I said. Ares, god of war? Ares grinned and took off his shades. Where his eyes should have been, there was only fire, empty sockets glowing with the miniature nuclear explosions. That's right, punk. I heard you broke Clarice's spear. She was asking for it. Probably. That's cool. I don't fight my kids' fights, you know. What I'm here for? I heard you were in town. I got a little proposition for you. The waitress came back with heaping trays of food, cheeseburgers, fries, onion rings, and chocolate shakes. Ares handed her a few gold dramas. She looked nervously at the coins. But these aren't... Ares pulled out his huge knife and started cleaning his fingernails. Problem, sweetheart. The waitress swallowed, then left with the gold. You can't do that, I told Ares. You can't just threaten people with a knife. Ares laughed. Are you kidding? I love this country. Best place since Sparta. Don't you carry a weapon, punk? You should. Dangerous world out there. Which brings me to my proposition. I need you to do me a favor. What favor could I do for a god? Something a god doesn't have time to do himself. It's nothing much. I left my shield at an abandoned water park here in town. I was going on a little date with my girlfriend. We were interrupted. I left my shield behind. I want you to fetch it for me. Why don't you go back and get it yourself? The fire in his eye sockets glowed a little hotter. Why don't I turn you into a prairie dog and run over you with my Harley? 'Cause I don't feel like it. God's giving you an opportunity to prove yourself, Percy Jackson. Will you prove yourself a coward? He leaned forward. Or maybe you only fight when there's a river to dive into, so your daddy can protect you. I wanted to punch this guy, but somehow I knew he was waiting for that. Ares' power was causing my anger. He'd love if I attacked. I didn't want to give him the satisfaction. We're not interested, I said. We're already on a quest. Ares' fiery eyes made me see things I didn't want to see. Blood, smoke, corpses on the battlefield. I know all about your quest, punk. When that item was first stolen, Zeus sent his best looking for it. Apollo, Athena, Artemis, and me, naturally. If I couldn't sniff out a weapon that powerful... He licked his lips, as if the very thought of the master bolt made him hungry. Well, if I couldn't find it, you got no hope. Nevertheless, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Your dad and I go way back. After all, I'm the one who told him my suspicions about the old corpse breath. You told him Hades stole the bolt? Sure. Framing someone to start a war, oldest trick in the book. I recognized it immediately. In a way, you got me to think for your little quest. Thanks, I grumbled. Hey, I'm a generous guy. Just do my little job and I'll help you on your way. I'll arrange a ride west for you and your friends. We're doing fine on our own. Yeah, right. No money, no wheels, no clue what you're up against. Help me out. Maybe I'll tell you what you need to know. Something about your mom. My mom? He grinned. That got your attention. The water park is a mile west on Delancey. You can't miss it. Look for the Tunnel of Love ride. What interrupted your date? I asked. Something scare you off? Ares bared his teeth, but I'd seen his threatening look before on Clarice. There was something false about it, almost like he was nervous. You're lucky you met me, punk, and not one of those other Olympians. They're not as forgiving of rudeness as I am. I'll meet you back here when you're done. Don't disappoint me. After that I must have fainted or fallen into a trance because when I opened my eyes again, Ares was gone. I might have thought the conversation had been a dream, but Annabeth and Grover's expressions told me otherwise. Not good, Grover said. Ares sought you out, Percy. This is not good. I stared out the window. The motorcycle had disappeared. Did Ares really know something about my mom? Or was he just playing with me? Now that he was gone, all this anger had drained out of me. I realized Ares must love to mess with people's emotions. That was his power of cranking up the passion so badly they clouded over your ability to think. It's probably some kind of trick, I said. Forget Ares. Jess, let's go. We can't, Annabeth said. Look, I hate Ares as much as anyone else, but you don't ignore the gods unless you want something seriously bad fortune. He wasn't kidding. About turning you into a rodent? I looked down at my cheeseburger, which suddenly didn't seem so appetizing. Why does he need us? Maybe it's a problem that requires brains, Annabeth said. Ares has strength. That's all he has. Even strength has to bow to wisdom sometimes. But this water park? He acted almost scared. What would make a war god run away like that? Annabeth and Grover glanced nervously at each other. Annabeth said, I'm afraid we'll have to find out. The sun was sinking behind the mountains by the time we found the water park. Judging from the sign, it had once been called Waterland, but now some of the letters were smashed out, so it read Waterland. The main gate was padlocked and topped with barbed wire. Inside, large, dry water slides and tubes, piped krills everywhere, leading to empty pools. Old tickets and advertisements fluttered around the asphalt. With night coming on, the place looked sad and creepy. If Ares brings his girlfriend here for a date, I said, staring up at the barbed wire, I'd hate to see what she looks like. Percy, Annabeth warned, be more respectful. Why, I thought you hated Ares. He's still a god, and his girlfriend is very temperamental. You don't want to insult her looks, Grover added. Who is she? Echidna? No. Aphrodite, Grover said a little dreamily. The goddess of love. I thought she was married to somebody. Hephaestus. What's your point? He asked. Oh, I said suddenly. Felt the need to change the subject. So how do we get in? Maya! Grover's shoes sprouted the wings. He flew over the fence and did an unintended somersault in midair, then stumbled to a landing on the opposite side. He dusted off his jeans as he planned the whole thing. You guys coming? Annabeth and I climbed the old-fashioned way, holding down the barbed wire for each other as we crawled over the top. The shadows grew long as we walked through the park. Checking out the attractions, there was the ankle-biter island, head over wedgie, and dude, where's my swimsuit? No monsters came to get us. Nothing made the slightest noise. We found a souvenir shop that had been left open. Merchandise still lined the shelves. Snow globes, pencils, postcards, and racks of clothes? Annabeth said, fresh clothes. Yeah, I said, but you just can't watch me. She snatched an entire row of stuff off the racks and disappeared into the changing room. A few minutes later, she came into the Waterland floral print shorts, a big red Waterland t-shirt, and commemorative Waterland surf shoes. A Waterland backpack was slung over her shoulder, obviously stuffed with more goodies. What the heck, Grover shrugged. Soon all three of us were decked out like walking advertisements for the defunct theme park. We continued searching for the tunnel of love. I got the feeling of the whole park holding its breath. So, Ares and Aphrodite, I said, trying to keep my mind off the growing dark. They have a thing going? That's old gossip, Annabeth told me. 3,000-year-old gossip. What about Aphrodite's husband? Well, you know, she said, Hephaestus, the blacksmith, he was crippled when he was a baby, thrown off Mount Olympus by Zeus. He isn't exactly handsome. Clever with his hands, but Aphrodite isn't into brains and talent, you know. She likes bikers. Whatever. Hephaestus knows? Oh, sure, Annabeth said. He caught them together once. Literally caught them in a golden net and invited all the gods to come and laugh at them. Hephaestus is always trying to embarrass them. That's why they meet in out-of-the-way places like... She stopped looking straight ahead. Like that. In front of us was an empty pool that would have been awesome for skateboarding. It was at least 50 yards across and shaped like a bowl. Around the rim, a dozen bronze statues of Cupid stood guard with wings spread and bows ready to fire. On the opposite side of us, a tunnel opened up, probably where the water flowed into where the pool was full. The sign above it said, Thrill ride of love. This is not your parents' tunnel of love. Grover crept over to the edge. Guys, look. Marooned at the bottom of the pool was a pink and white two-seater boat with a canopy over the top and little hearts painted all over it. In the left seat, glinting in the fading light, was Ares' shield, a polished silver or bronze. This is too easy, I said. So we just walk down there and get it? Annabeth ran her fingers along the base of the nearest Cupid statue. There's a Greek letter card here, I said. ETA, I wonder. Grover, I said, you smell any monsters? He sniffed the wind. Nothing. Nothing like in the arch, and you didn't smell echidna, nothing, or nothing really. Grover looked hurt. I told you that was underground. Okay, I'm sorry. I took a deep breath. I'm going down there. I'll go with you. Grover didn't sound too enthusiastic, but I got the feeling he was trying to make up for what happened in St. Louis. No, I told him. I want you to stay up at the top with the flying shoes. You're the Red Baron, flying ace, remember? I'll be counting on you for backup in case something goes wrong. Grover puffed up his chest a little. Sure, but what could go wrong? I don't know, just a feeling. Annabeth, come with me. Are you kidding? She looked at me as if I'd dropped from the moon. Her cheeks were bright red. What's the problem now? I demanded. Me? Go with you to the thrill ride of love? How embarrassing is that? What if somebody saw me? Who's going to see you? But my face was burning now, too. Leave it to a girl to make everything complicated. Fine, I told her. I'll do it myself. But when I started down to the side of the pool, she followed me, muttering about how boys were always messing things up. We reached the boat. The shield was propped on one seat, and next to it was a lady's silk scarf. I was trying to imagine Ares and Aphrodite here, a couple of gods meeting in a junked-out amusement park ride. Why? Then I noticed something I hadn't seen from the top. Mirrors all the way around the rim of the pool, facing the spot. We could see ourselves no matter what direction we looked. That must be it. While Ares and Aphrodite were smooching with each other, they could look at their favorite people, themselves. I picked up the scarf. It shimmered pink, and the perfume was indescribable rose, or mountain laurel. Something good. I smiled a little dreamily. I was about to rub the scarf against my cheek when Annabeth ripped it out of my hand and stuffed it in her pocket. Oh, no, you don't. Stay away from that love magic. What? Just get the shield, seaweed brain. Let's get out of here. The moment I touched the shield, I knew we were in trouble. My hand broke through something that had been connected to the dashboard. A cobweb, I thought. Then I looked at a strand of it in my palm and saw it was some kind of metal filament, so fine it was almost invisible. A tripwire. Wait, Annabeth said. Too late. There's another Greek letter on the side of the boat. Another ETA. This is a trap. Noise erupted all around us, of millions of gears grinding as if the whole pool were turning into one giant machine. Grover yelled, Guys! Up on the rim, the Cupid statues were drawing their bows into the firing position. Before I could suggest taking cover, they shot, but not at us. They fired at each other. Across the rim of the pool, silky cables trailed from the arrows, arching over the pool and anchoring from where they landed to form a huge golden asterisk. Then a smaller metallic thread started weaving together magically between the main strands, making a net. We've got to get out of here, I said. Duh, Annabeth said. I grabbed the shield and we ran, but going up the slope of the pool is not as easy as going down. Come on, Grover shouted. He was trying to hold open a section of net for us, but whenever he touched it, the golden thread started to wrap around his hands. The Cupids' heads popped open. Out came video cameras. Spotlights rose up all around the pool, blinding us with illumination, and a loudspeaker voice boomed. Live to Olympus in 1 minute, 59 seconds, 58. Hephaestus! Annabeth screamed. I'm so stupid. ETA's H. He made this trap to catch his wife with Ares. Now we're gonna be broadcast live to Olympus and look like absolute fools. We'd almost make it to the rim when a row of mirrors opened up like hatches and thousands of tiny metallic thingies poured out. Annabeth screamed. It was an army of wind-up creepy crawlers